Okay, we're going to continue the top 10 feature that we're doing, top 10 songs. This time we're going to feature the band Zebra.
Mike and Mark here.
Yes. And Zebra actually, um, they were, I think they were originally from New York City. And they kind of had a following there. And then there was some move to Louisiana, and then all of a sudden they were based out of Louisiana and they had a decent following down there. So they have kind of like two homes back in the day, and so I'm not sure. I knew that Mike Portnoy even knew who they were. Matter of fact, Dream Theater did a cover of one of their songs. Um, was it Lala song or Take Your Fingers? Um, didn't I copy that for you? They did. Dream Theater covered one of their songs. Anyways, um, they did they did four albums, and they actually had videos on MTV back in the mid '80s. Um, they had three. They had three at least. Um, Tell Me What You Want, Who's Behind the Door, and Bears. And they might even had a video from Zebra 3.5. This one that we're showing here on the picture. Time maybe not. I don't know. They had at least three videos on MTV. So they made it in a minor sort of way. So and Mike is going to lead things off, so he can do his introduction and then do his top 10. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think Zebra kind of hit it big with their first album, but um, the '80s weren't too kind to a lot of artists, so that probably didn't help.
Yeah, those two, the second and third albums didn't sell well, and they went out of print. And yeah,
Yeah,
that's a sign of doom right there.
yeah. But Zebra's a band that we both definitely love, and even though they got only four albums, it's almost every song, but a few are, in my mind, excellent. Um, for me, especially the first and third albums are the ones that I really love the most. Um, anyway, for my top 10, um, I got six songs from the first album. So,
And you, oh, by the way, say something about meeting Randy.
yeah, I was fortunate enough to meet all three
You know,
of the band members, and to this day, I still feel bad that you didn't get to meet them. It was just crappy set of circumstances that
yeah,
we had such a good table um, for the show, and we didn't want to give it up, so we went one at a time. I went up there, and there was a line, and I was probably about the last person, and I got up there, met them, all three of the guys, and Randy, Felix, and Guy. And by the time I got back to the table and Mark got up, they were packed up and ready to get on stage. So that was unfortunate.
you know.
Um, anyway, I don't know. Think we'll ever see a fifth album?
No.
Okay. It's only been 18 years.
Yeah.
Um,
email him. He's emailed
Yeah,
you back
that's
before.
true. That's true. Um, but you know, their fourth album turned out to be pretty doggone good.
Yeah, I got some representation there.
Yeah.
A little bit, I think.
Um, anyway, from the first album, in my top 10, of course, One More Chance, and Who's Behind the Door were two of the three radio songs. And the other four that I have from the first album, really excellent songs. I certainly couldn't leave these off of my top 10. As I said before, Take Your Fingers from My Hair, Don't Walk Away, and the La La song. So right off the bat, there's 6 on the first album. I got one from their second album, No Telling Lies, and No, It's Not Bears. And you know, this has always been one of my favorites. I don't know what it is about the song, but it to this day, I still love it to death, but no more.
No, yeah.
And then a couple from 3.5, Can't Live Without, and He's Making You the Fool. And lastly, from the fourth album, entitled 4, or IV if you like, A World That Is Learning. Love that song. Just love that song. It's a great song. And I was going to say great vocals, but Randy Jackson's voice is just incredible. And it's funny, the videos we have and seeing him live that one time, he seems so effortless in his singing. But I just love his voice. It's amazing. Actually, when we saw them live in 2002, I think we were talking before the show. I wonder what his voice is like. I wonder if he still has it.
Yeah.
And sure enough, you know, some 20 years almost since the first album, his voice sounded great. So that's my top 10. My honorable mentions, and I do have from the first album, Tell Me What You Want, which was the third radio song from that album. From No Telling Lies, Bears, I still like that today. Like Mark mentioned, there was a video of it on MTV. I'm going to skip over to the fourth album, a couple songs. Arabian Nights, the lead-off track on the album, and that's great song. Good rocker, and more mellow song, Angels Calling. And the reason I skipped over 3.5 for the honorable mentions is this. When I put these 18 songs together, I actually had 22 songs. And for the life of me, I struggled to get that 22 down to 18. And the reason is I had all 10 songs from 3.5 listed, and I could not bear to eliminate any of those 10 songs, and I ultimately eliminated 4. And I kept Time, Your Mind's Open, About to Make the Time, and You're Only Losing Your Heart. But as good as the first album is, to not be able to shed any of the third album songs it was painful. I kept listening over and over and over, and just was tortured because I just love that album from start to finish, as I do the first album especially. But I can't say enough about 3.5. It's a great album. It's a shame. It's a shame that their sales probably were not great on that album as they should have been if times were better. And, if if they were around in the late '70s, I think they would have been a lot bigger.
Yeah, I think sales for 3.5 was terrible.
Yeah, but when did that come out in the late '80s?
Yeah, it almost didn't stand a chance.
Not a good time for a hard rock band.
No,
to be coming out with music.
Yeah, when you could go out and buy Poison.
Yeah.
They didn't stand a chance.
Yeah, all the hair bands were around then, and you had all the '80s music that was all over MTV and stuff, and a hard rock band at that time it didn't stand a chance.
Nope.
A new hard rock band, but to me, they're way up there in my favorite bands, and always will be. There's a special place in my heart for Zebra, and to be just a trio as they are, and to see them on stage to perform as a trio is pretty incredible. To have the sound that they had.
Yeah.
So. Anyway, that's my 18.
Okay.
What do you have?
Well, we're going to have quite a few similarities. From the first album, I got 4 on the top 10. As I said before, La La Song, Take Your Fingers from My Hair, and 5, Who's Behind the Door, and One More Chance. 1, 2,
And it's 5.
3, 4, 5. Yes. Okay. Then I'll just go from there. Just randomly go as the list goes. Bears from the second album. I've always absolutely loved that song. And from the fourth album, Arabian Nights, I think is fantastic. I got it up there. And Time, Can't Live Without, and Who Am I? That's my top 10. Oh, I got a duplicate here. Okay. Honorable mention. Don't Walk Away. Better Not Call. He's Making You the Fool. Your Mind's Open. But No More. Wait Until the Summer's Gone. I had 7, but I made a mistake, and only 6. And that's it. A lot of similarities.
Yeah, I only had there's 3 that you had that I didn't, so that's very, very similar. Better Not Call. I was obviously that was one of my tortured songs off of 3.5 eventually eliminated. I don't know how I could have done that, but I did it. But yeah, I can't say much more about Zebra.
Yeah.
I wish they would have had more albums because I've enjoyed all four, and you know, 18 years doesn't look good, especially for the state of that rock and roll music's in now. How would they even get an audience anymore?
Yeah, I don't think. I don't know that there's rock bands. I guess there's some making it today, but I mean, just watch any special on TV or the Super Bowl halftime show. It's all about dancing and backup dancers. Did you see that? Those two gals at the Super Bowl?
No,
They
I
had
don't
like
watch that
100.
stuff.
They had like 150. No, I muted it. They had like 150 backup dancers.
Oh yeah.
It's sickening, but whatever. Teach his own. Anyway, okay, well, that's Zebra. And we'll go ahead and close it up. Let us know what you think. Subscribe and like. And we will catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.